Hi, I want to talk about all behavior being motivated. What do I mean by that? People behave in certain ways, people say certain things, and we can focus on what that behavior or that language was, or we can move beneath to understand what's motivating or driving that. Okay, let me give you an example. Your kid comes home and you find out that they've stolen a video game from the store, and you're horrified. And you move in and say, we're so disappointed in you. Haven't we raised you better? What were you thinking? You know what? You're grounded for a month and there's no video, there's no devices for a month. You can do that. Or you can be curious as what motivates the behavior. Something drove that child to do that. In my personal life, I was a bit of a pain in the butt with my kids. I never allowed them to say the 3 words, I don't know. Why? Because I believe that all behavior is motivated. And if we're curious enough, we can get to the bottom of that motivation. And if kids, sometimes they don't know, and they will say, well, I don't know. Why did you steal that video game? I don't know. If they really, really can't, then give them some multiple choice. You needed it for a project you were doing. Your friends put you up to it and said, we'll be friends with you if you steal this video game. You were $4 short and you figured, I'll just steal it because I really want it. There is always a reason for the behavior. Let's take another example. Your kid comes home late, busts curfew, and has done, drunk as a skunk when they come home, or too high on something. Now, what I would say is do not have this conversation when they come home in that state, but do have it the next day and say, well, what happened? You said you'd be home by 2 and you stumbled in at 4 and we got really worried and you never let us know where you were. What was motivating that? Well, I don't know. Well, let's take a moment. You had a decision. There was a time at 1:30, 1:45 where you made a decision to not call and not come home. Have them dig deep so they can be curious about their behavior. Now, I don't want to say that consequences aren't part of it, but always make sure that the consequences match what the crime is. Stealing something, pretty serious. Coming home 2 hours later, right? A little too drunk and a little too high, okay. But make it match the crime, okay? Punishing somebody for being 10 minutes late and saying you're off devices for a month is never going to fly. And let me give you another example. I have a lot of people who say, my kid's just lazy. And I say, I don't buy that. I don't think kids are just lazy. I don't think people are lazy. I think there's something motivating them. Well, my kid just, doesn't study and doesn't want to go out, and let's get to the bottom of it. Find out what motivates that behavior. Maybe they're overweight and feel uncomfortable in their body and don't want to go out in public. Maybe they have, failed 3 of the exams or tests at school and they've given up and they're feeling really hopeless and don't want to study anymore. So you can see how important it is. Rather than staying with just the behavior and managing that and punishing that or giving consequences to that, find out what's driving it. You'll get a whole lot more information and you will teach your children the importance of curiosity and insight and ownership.